they have more debts than they have assets, and this is something that a CPA needs to go over with them. You do not need to be their CPA unless you are a CPA. You do not need to be their attorney unless you are an attorney. This is where you need to give them real estate advice and send them to the right people. Super important. Credit damage can be reduced a little bit if they make their payments on time. They're still going to get a negative mark on their credit report, and it depends on who you talk to. Some people are telling me they have a negative on their credit report, 150 points for a short sale. Some people are saying 250. So it depends on who you're talking to, and also probably depends on the lender how they're reporting it. But really, for me, it's difficult to imagine that any borrower is not going to have a negative mark on their credit report. It also shows up as a charge-off. And you know what? The biggest and best cure for credit problems when they have these type of issues, in a couple of years, they'll be able to come back and buy another home. The biggest cure for credit issues is time, right? The more time that passes after their late payments, the better their credit score is going to start getting. So they're going to take a big hit at the beginning. And a lot of people seem to think that you can sell their home on a short sale and immediately sell them another home right away. That's not necessarily the case, guys. That's not the case, because lenders know that if it's a short sale, there was issues, and if it starts hitting on their credit report pretty shortly they're going to have a major ding on their credit report for quite a while. So it'll be a while before they're able to buy something, okay? Making payments, though, on time. If some people just say, hey, Robert, I still want to maintain as much of my credit as possible, so if they want to do that, absolutely, they're going to save some of their credit, but not all of them. And Fannie Mae guidelines actually require 24 months of seasoning before they could buy another property. So just thought you guys might want to know. Personally, I think it's really unclear right now as to what the long-term effects of a short sale are going to be. I have a hard time believing that lenders over the next year, year and a half, as the market starts to stabilize, like it's already showing signs. I think we're doing this at the bottom of the market right now. But I think once lenders feel much more comfortable with the market's doing, they're probably going to get a little more flexible. Some private lenders, you know, the First Franklins, the other portfolio lenders are probably going to be a little bit more flexible on some of these, because there's not going to be very few people who have a short sale on their credit report. There's going to be a lot of people who have short sales on their credit report, just like foreclosures. Also, other options to consider when you're doing a short sale is recourse versus non-recourse. Basically, recourse, refi, cash out, refi. If they pull cash out of their property and then they don't pay it back and they decide to do a short sale, guess what? They may have the bank going after them for that amount. That's what we're talking about. You need to refer this to the proper people, guys. You cannot be the person who's telling them, you're going to be fine, everything's going to be okay. You can't. You give them the real estate advice and you send them to a CPA or an attorney. Now, let's talk a little bit about the listing appointment. When I take a short sale listing, there's a few things that are really important to me. Okay, and these things are going to help you make your short sale listings and transactions go a little bit smoother. Number one, all the decision makers need to be at the table. All the people who are on the note and on the loan, even though some are on the note and some are only on the loan, they all need to be there. Because if for some reason they transfer title from one person to another, that person's still on the loan. That's still the person that's going to have to go to the short sale. We just closed one that way. You know, where he transferred title to somebody else, and pretty much all the paperwork that I had to go through was with the person who was on the loan and not the person who signed the listing agreement. So make sure, first and foremost, that everybody is there and present at the initial listing appointment. Also, you need to ask your clients to bring all mortgage statements to all the properties that they own. Not just the one that they're going to be listing, but all the properties that they own. It's very important for you to know that, okay? And also ask them what their ultimate goal is. What is it that they want to do? Some people think that short sale is their only option. Short sale may not be their only option. What if they want to keep their home? And we're trying to push them into selling their property because, you know, let's take another listing. Maybe they could just do a modification. You know, there's people that come to me all the time and they owe $735,000 and their home is still worth about $715,000, $720,000. If they were to buy that house, it's going to cost them $735,000 with closing costs all over again. And those people actually can probably stay with that property, and they're awesome candidates for modification if they can in fact afford that home. Okay, that's really super important. Now, when I take that listing, and when you take that listing, there are several things that are really important that you have to ask for. Number one, complete the entire listing agreement, guys. complete the entire listing agreement, because sometimes the lender is going to want to see a copy of the listing agreement. And lenders are going to want a lot of different things. Some want the listing agreement, some don't even ask. But just complete it in its entirety and make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's. A lot of lenders that are handling these short sales think we're dumb. And you only prove it when you send them a listing agreement that's halfway filled out, right? Complete the initial short sale package. In other words, there's some documentations that we have that give us authorization to speak to their lenders immediately. At the listing appointment, we have these documentations with us so that they can sign it, because we're going to start getting in touch with their lender. Why? We want to ask the lender, Mr. Lender, what is it that you're looking for a short sale? Are there any particular documents that you need so that we can go through with the short sale ASAP? And lenders, for the most part, have the same basic forms. On occasion, some have different ones. But if I get these things up front, then I can immediately start working on that listing and not wait to get an offer, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, we're still trying to get authorizations, because some lenders are that way. Some lenders, you'll fax over the authorization, they'll say, I didn't receive it. You'll fax it again, I didn't receive it. You'll fax it 6 or 7 times and get confirmation that they received it, and they'll say, I didn't receive it. Okay? That's just the nature of the beast, and that really is what happens. So you need to make sure you get those things started up front, because you kind of want to be ahead of the game on your transactions. Authorization of lender info. Inspections. A lot of people say, and I'm a big believer that when you have a listing, you should have inspections done up front, because it's just a good thing, right? But gosh, on the short sales, I would probably ask you to think twice about that, because you're going to have a tremendous amount of invoices coming from everywhere, because your listing's going to be on the market for the next 60, 90, 120 days. Are there any property inspectors here? Okay, how do you guys feel about when you have invoices for 4, 5, 6 months? You want to collect, right? And it's only fair. The person did the job, they went into the inspection, and if you still haven't sold the property, you, the agent, could start getting those invoices, because you're the person who ordered those inspections. So most of the time, I find that when there are short sales, they bought the property over the last year or 2, and I ask them if they have copies of their previous inspection. Okay, because if they have copies of the previous inspection, at least it's something to go by. I still encourage everybody to have their own inspections once they enter into a contract, but don't make it a habit of starting ordering inspections and turnaround reports and all that when you take a listing on a short sale. It's just not really the best way of handling it. Pricing the property is crucial. The way you price your property and the price that you sell it for, crucial in getting your properties sold and closed. So price to sell and close, because even if the seller approves your offer, remember, it's still contingent upon the lender accepting your offer. Okay. Ridiculously low list prices, like I see it. I see short sale listing. Everybody else is $499, $485, $520. I can't believe we're talking 400s nowadays, right? 400 was like a McEwen like 6 months ago. $475, $499, and somebody says, $299, $950 short sale. You're going to get 30 offers, but your lender's never going to approve it. Oh, I shouldn't say never, but it's probably not going to approve it. We've seen some crazy things happen, but for the most part, I wouldn't take that chance, because you're going to be doing what? Clogging the system, and you're going to be involved in a transaction where everybody's going to get frustrated, and you're going to end up having the transaction fall through, and you shouldn't have gone into it in the first place. So prices sound close. I like to price my listings, and this has really worked for us, and this is what lenders have told me. Lenders have told me, Robert, off the record, we're looking for 85 to 90% of value of the property. Off the record, so don't quote me, so I'm not quoting them. Certain lenders have said that. And we price our properties within 95 to 98% of market value, because we want to end up around 90%. Now, if we end up around 85% and this property's been on the market for 180 days, lender's probably going to be a little more easy to work with, because this property's been on the market for a lot longer, and they see what you've done. So price them within 90% of value, and you need to disclose on the multiple listing service that it is a short sale and subject to lender approval. Now, there's some documents that CAR has given us, and they're awesome. For those of you who are working short sale foreclosures, I put them on a website. We put together a website for all the agents, because agents call us all the time. We got like 105 listings, I think. Agents are calling us all the time. Robert, well, how do you do this? What does this mean? I'm like, you know what? We're going to put this on a website for all of you to just pull it down and download it. So all the forms that we use in the initial listing presentation, the documents that are from CAR attorneys, they're all on